All right, I'm on a roll and I'm going to try to do the last video here. I guess it's probably video number 5. What I want to talk about is closing, possession, and signing, okay? So there's a lot of confusion around some of these terms. So the first thing that happens, I like to call it signing. So basically that's when you make an appointment with the escrow company to go in and sign all of your closing papers. The issue with signing is that usually takes place a day or two before closing because the escrow company wants to make sure all the paperwork's done correctly. It gives time for the paperwork to go back to the lender for review. So for instance, if we were closing, like the closing date is the day you get your money, if we were closing on, let's say, the 15th, chances are you'd be signing on like the 13th or the 14th at the latest. If you live out of town, we have to make other arrangements to even sign sooner than that to make sure the paperwork can get back in time to the escrow company. So the signing appointment is not closing, that's just your signing appointment, and the same goes for the buyer, okay? So we sign a couple days before closing, so everything is done, complete, reviewable, and then we close on the scheduled closing date, okay? Now, a lot of times you have to be out on the closing date, and typically when you're out on the closing date, that means you're out at 5 p.m. on the closing date. Sometimes we have possession after closing, so you don't give possession of the home to the buyer for maybe a week after closing. Keep in mind that during that period of time, oftentimes you have to pay rent to the buyer. There's an additional agreement to occupy after closing paperwork that needs to be completed. You have to change the type of insurance you have on the property to make sure the buyer is covered as well. And then you need to be out on that agreed date, okay? These are firm dates. So the closing date and the possession date are just as firm as the price. You're not going to change your price in the middle of the deal just because you want to. It means you can't change your closing or your possession date. Once those are agreed, we need to stick to those. One last thing I like to talk about is how you get your proceeds, okay? If we're going to close, let's say on the 15th, and you signed all your paperwork, well, if we close on the 15th, your check is available for you at the escrow office if that's what you want to do. If you want to pick up your check, they will have your check available for you on the closing day. Okay, if you choose to have your money wired to your account, mailed to you, whatever, that's your choice. So you may not get your funds for an extra day or two, which is normal, but the closing date is still the closing date. And if you're supposed to be out at 5 p.m. on the closing date, even if you're not getting your money until the next day because you chose to have it wired to your account, you have to honor that 5 p.m. date. And the reason is I had a problem in the past, and I just want to be very clear with people so they understand that. It's really not an issue for most people. It's when your money is available for you. If you choose a different option of how you want to get your money, that's your choice. So anyway, I think this is going to be my last video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call. You can reach me at 503-869-4744. Call, text, or email. Have a great day, and congratulations. We're almost to closing. Bye.